by any means. And I will apologize in advance if we don't get to the super chats. So we are in a car somewhere. I don't know whether or not I'm supposed to say on camera. Chilling out here after the race. And how's it going? Okay, we got people in the chat. I see it takes a while for updates and stuff. So I don't know whether or not we're, live to a bunch of people. 5, it could be 1, it could be 100. I do not know. So be sure to say whatever you want in the chat. Hi, everybody. Let's let everybody roll on in here. KFB is him. Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you know what? When I can, I try to get one of these streams in no matter what it takes. I will say it might be a little iffy with the Wi-Fi just because we are on the road. But seeing all you guys in here for the 6 hours of Gateway, yes, Cubs hat on because we're in enemy territory, and on top of all of that, yes, Claudia, it was a little bad, but I'll say when the internet went out, we'll talk about it in a bit. We definitely had an improvement. I think we just needed a system reset. But seeing everybody coming in, I'm glad to see you. Yeah, you might say Cubs down, but we won 7-1 today. Sorry, got the sass going. Not as burnt as usual, but I'm seeing everybody coming on in here. So how about we do a Chris Collinsworth slide in?
Hi, everybody. What's up? What's going on? We had a hell of a race today. It was something. Man, one of the weirdest races I've ever been to personally, just because, man, what does all that happen today, man? We had...
Well, we'll get into it. I got the notes.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get right into it, bro.
All right, well,
to talk about.
We had I might go back and forth. So, we had the Enjoy Illinois 300 today. Although it felt like the Enjoy Illinois 1000. It was 243 laps, only 3 laps more than it was last year. 3 hours, 29 minutes, 45 seconds was the official time of the race. Let's be honest, that wasn't it. This race actually probably would have lasted longer than the Coke 600 if it was uninterrupted. With this race, though, we had Kyle Busch getting the victory, leading 121 laps. Interesting fact about this, that is the most laps for a win that Richard Childress Racing has had a team or driver lead since 2013 at the second race at Kansas when Kevin Harvick led 138 in the first year of the Gen 6. After him, only a second or a half second, I will get to that super chat in a moment, a half second was the gap for victory. That would have been Denny Hamlin in the second spot. Then you had Joey Logano in third, Kyle Larson, major comeback. We'll talk about that in a moment. He got a fourth place spot. Then you have Truex in the 5th spot. 6th goes to Blaney. Suarez 7th. 8th, William Byron, another solid run for the 24 team. Probably the best team, honestly, this year. I will fully admit I got that one wrong. Then from there, we have McDowell's supremacy in 9th. Michael McDowell getting a top 10 in this one. Solid run for him. 10th, Kevin Harvick. Then you got 11th, Christopher Bell, Christopher Buescher in 12th, Cindric in 13th. Richard Childress had some very interesting words for Austin Cindric. We'll get into those as well. We were in there when it happened. I mean,
that was funny.
Yeah. And then from there, we have Allmendinger 14th, 15th Gilliland, 16th Haley, Preece 17th, then 18th Eric Jones, Eric Almirola in 19th. So we had the Christophers and the Erics one after another. Then from there, we had Gibbs in 20th, Corey LaJoie in 21st.
Yikes.
Might have lost a few pennies in that one. From there, we got Chastain, 22nd, a no-show for the most part today. 23rd, Harrison Burton. Yaley, 24th. Ty Dillon, 25th. 26th goes to Alex Bowman. 27th, BJ McLeod. Last on the lead lap was Brad Keselowski. Let's get through these last ones, and we'll get into the finishing order a little bit more, and I'll read that super chat we got. But then we got Greg Galding in the 29th spot, Bubba Wallace, 30th out of the race. Out of the race, 2 for Austin Dillon and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. From there, then, Gregson, I believe, was out. And then 50 laps down was Chase Briscoe. Reddick, 35th. And last was Carson Hocevar, though his, I will say that he did not deserve last. Now, let me see if I can get this super chat pulled up. I apologize. I guess when I'm live, I have to read them right when they happen.
Yeah, streaming on the phone's weird, but yeah. They got to improve their app. But yeah, no, Carson Hocevar, man. What more can you say, man? Dude is, I mean, it's only one start, but I mean, he was running top 15 Inspire equipment in his Cup Series debut, and it was off of pure speed, not strategy or anything. And then unfortunately had the brake rotor issue. Look, this may be a hot take to some, but hey, look, I said I saw enough with Xfinity, but I mean, you come to a place like Gateway and run that well, man. I would like to see him in Cup very, very soon. Just saying.
That just so I don't miss the super chats here. Need for Speed 534342. Ty Dillon keeping up with LaJoie was interesting.
It was.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm realizing having the live stream on my phone is going to make it a little more difficult. Thank you, David Bell, for being a member for 3 months.
Thank you, sir.
Did that race last longer than the Coke 600?
Actually,
Not including the red flags for the 600, but yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah, it did.
That's funny. That's funny how that works.
If you include the red flags.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we talked about Hocevar. I think that's the first major story to talk about. Which maybe, can I get this?
Yeah, try and see if you can set it right there. Yeah.
Production meeting on air.
Yeah, this is we're in my Kia, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's good. Yeah, we just can't be moving around a lot. Yes, there we go.
So we won't see you on our side.
That's fine.
But so yeah, I got the notes. Believe it or not, I do take notes. I am somewhat organized.
Right from the right, like even before the race, man, Hocevar, you could just tell he was just chilling. Like he was in the media center, heading out, Celsius.
So we can get into the media center stuff. He came in. I wasn't paying attention.
Me neither.
And I just hear behind me, Darian. And Darian like looks up. I look back. I'm like, oh, yeah, because I'm like, okay, either somebody we know's here or we're in trouble. Yeah, it's no in between. And he was in there, and we talked to him before the race.
What's up?
We talked to him before the race, and he was like, we asked if he was nervous, and he said he was more nervous for his Xfinity start.
Yes, and he gave me the exclusive press release, if I can find it.
Oh, yeah. Read that one off.
That was funny. If I can find it.
But, yeah, it was, I gotta say, it was pretty darn cool to talk to him because he did not have any worry whatsoever about what was going to happen tonight, about any of that.
So he gave me this exclusive press release right here. So it says, "Dear media personnel," because I didn't see him hand it to anybody else. He just handed it to
a few people.
Oh, we did? Okay. Yeah. Well, it says, "Dear media personnel, I'm writing you today in the hopes that this letter reaches you. My name is Carson Hocevar. Although the car that I'm driving today says Corey LaJoie, I can assure you it is not Corey and is myself driving today. Be sure to stay hydrated today, as it's going to be a hot one. Please take this Celsius as a gift from the real driver of the 7 car today." And then it has his logo. So, just little stuff like that, man. That, we talk about drivers. Oh, we want drivers to have more personality. I mean, it's cool to see these young guys,
They do have a good amount of personality.
Doing their own thing and stuff, and obviously, promoting the sponsor and stuff, which, by the way, Celsius is really good. I never had it before today. It's pretty good, so.
Yeah, and I liked it too, but kind of getting into the race too, while we're at it. Looking at another storyline here today, we'll get into Kyle Busch, we'll get into all that in a moment, but I think we should look also, and we will get to the losing power and Fox and all that, but I think something we should get into is Corey LaJoie's run. So from the start, we were on the backstretch watching the explosions. It was awesome. Fire. But from there, we noticed that Corey LaJoie was in the back, especially after the first caution. We noticed that he was like, I want to say he was
second to last. He was second to last, yeah. And we thought he was involved with the 45 incident, but then Pockers reported, I guess he accidentally hit his kill switch.
He hit his kill switch on shifting.
Yeah.
That's rough. That is absolutely rough to see.
I mean, he was nervous then. Clearly nervous, right?
Maybe it's just an honest mistake. But the start of the day from there was pretty darn bad.
Yeah.
And it was a bad start to a day that would only pretty much get worse. Hendrick Motorsports, for the most part, in the first stage, or maybe even 2 stages, was not all that good. It was not a Hendrick Motorsports kind of night or day. Marathon.
Look, it says a lot when Carson, not when Carson Hocevar, but it says a lot when Kyle Larson is running outside the top 30. Like a guy of that caliber of talent should not be outside the top 30 ever.
But the rest of Hendrick Motorsports, and while the finish didn't show up for Alex Bowman, the rest of Hendrick Motorsports recovered. LaJoie didn't. LaJoie finished 21st. That was about the highest I saw him all day when it wasn't some kind of strategy or when the ticker was messing up because of pit stops. He was legitimately slow and they all were for a while. And track position meant a lot. They couldn't do anything with track position. They couldn't make it faster. I get people say, "Well, the data was out and they couldn't access it."
There were a lot of teams that had the same problem.
That was a problem everybody had to face. The 11 faced it, and he finished second. Just push comes to shove. I'll be honest, the whole team maybe, but I'd say LaJoie fumbled the bag on his big opportunity. It sucks to see because I think we all like LaJoie.
Oh, yeah.
But you cannot argue with the way he ran and the results of it.
And this now basically confirms to me he's purely an underfunded team guy. Like, you get him in like a 7 team, or you get him in one of these underfunded cars, he will outrun the equipment. But now, unfortunately, it's like I don't think the fans are going to want to see him have this big of an opportunity anytime soon, unfortunately.
Well, while we're on here with over 300 watching, but by the way, be sure to click the like button, subscribe if you're new, all that stuff. Live from St. Louis right now. Why don't we get into what might be the biggest talking point of the night, of the day, of the delay? So Fox went off the air at one point, and we were waiting outside to talk to Carson Hocevar after what had went down. And right as we're going out, the screens all go out. Everyone's thinking, oh, it's a Fox Sports L. When's NBC get back? Which I think we're all still thinking.
Oh, yeah.
But then we find out MRN is down, and we hear, Jamie Little talking about how it's like, we didn't do anything, nothing happened. And, we hear Kim Kuhn talking about how it's like, well, I don't even know if we're live right now.
Yeah.
And from there, it really came out that it was just the internet at the track that everyone was relying on, which I believe was fiber, which we both have.
We love fiber. I'm like, what?
Maybe fiber's good for small groups.
Maybe, for small apartments, not a whole track, maybe.
But apparently fiber goes out on them, and they just, everyone from that point forward was messed up when it came to internet. You had mess ups with NASCAR.com. They had they have the view of everybody, they're in cars. I guess that got messed up. Even through the end of the race, MRN's ability to go out to different parts of the country online was messed up.
They had to basically replay an old Busch race at one point.
Yeah, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they brought him down pit road almost as a red flag for a moment, to basically kind of give the networks time to try and fix something that wasn't their fault. And then, Larry Mack had to text everybody all of the stuff because they couldn't get to the Charlotte studio. I think they got that fixed. I'm not sure. We go extra long because of the lightning delays, which that sucked because we were like, everyone was hyped, ready to go. 5 laps in, that happens.
Such a horrible feeling.
Hour 45 there. Then we have the internet going out. That's probably, God, I know they kept the caution longer to help kind of alleviate that. So that had to be, man, I want to say...
It was a while.
Yeah, it was a little bit. And then they had the red flag towards the end because of the crash with Cindric, with the Austins. The crash with the Austins. And so this race it was a marathon that didn't need to be a marathon.
Yeah.
By the way, what's up, Scoot Car? Good to see you.
Hey, man.
But, God, it's just... Everything today was weird about this race. That's, I think, something we really brought up. Now, we didn't see necessarily everything that y'all saw because we were, at the track, out in person, all that good shit. You can roast me for saying a naughty word. But, from I think that point forward, it just got crazier. The stuff on the track, especially when you look at the stages went to Busch and Blaney. I wanted to cover that. I should read off the stages because we do this each week. Stage 1 was Busch, Blaney, Hamlin, MTJ, Logano, Harvick, Byron, Chastain, Cindric, and Suarez. So Trackhouse at least did show up this week for a little bit. Second stage was Blaney, Busch, Hamlin, Byron, Suarez, Stenhouse, Logano, Harvick, Chastain, and Larson. Kind of going through what all happened. Yeah, I mean, the rotor issues, I think that's another really big one in this. You had
four in total.
So it was what? Hocevar, you had Reddick,
Noah
Gregson,
was scary, and Bubba,
which was
at the
brutal.
end.
Bubba, yeah. That Noah Gregson wreck was brutal.
Yeah, and his comments were also brutal.
Well, what'd you compare it to?
I compared it to, I mean, you can compare it to a couple accidents. Bubba Wallace's 2018 brake failure at Pocono, and then even to some extent Jimmy Johnson's 2017 brake failure. I mean, Johnson's wreck was a lot worse, and I feel like so was Bubba. I mean, it was still bad though. Still pretty bad.
Well, he backed into the wall too.
Yeah.
But that is something that needs to be looked at, especially for Gateway, which I think is duh. If it happened here so much. Oh, 1 second. I want to make sure that doesn't get away. We'll get to the roast thing in this moment. Oh, baby, for $5. Have you seen that NASCAR? Wait, have you seen the NASCAR that was qualifying for 20? Oh, the
Johnson,
Garage 56.
Yeah, I seen that.
That was something. We'll talk about that this week on the podcast on Eric Estep's channel, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. But we were talking, I believe, about rotors here.
Yeah.
And I will get to that in a moment, Jimmy. When it comes to the rotors, what I worry about most is the rumor that I honestly think is going to happen based on what we've heard here and in general the last couple months, years. They're really, really talking about bringing the Brickyard back. And a track like Indianapolis, which is so much faster, if they had the same issues, that is very, very scary. It's dangerous. And I would not want them to bring the Brickyard 400 back by any means if they don't have this fixed, or at least have an idea of what it is that they can do to fix it by that point. Because putting drivers' lives on the line for ratings is, when it doesn't have to be, is, in my opinion, just terrible. Jimmy, thank you for the 5. Hi, guys. That was a great race because there was a lot of different strategies throughout the field. There was a lot of strategies.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was like all tire strategies, man. Need for Speed 3 for the 2. Same with Pocono, yes.
Yeah.
Very similar, very flat tracks. So that's something to look at with when it comes to all that. Let's get into the Austin's deal.
Yeah.
So it was 3 wide. I can't remember who the other one was. They were 3 wide with. I don't know if it was like Truex or.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember, but it was but Austin, Dillon, and by the way, thank you, Jimmy, for being a member for 2 months. What did you guys do during the lightning delay? Well, wanted to sleep.
Yeah, I wanted to sleep basically. It took forever.
But when it came to the Austins, they were 3 wide. I believe Cindric was just on the right rear of Dillon, and I mean, at first we thought it was, Dillon went up the track and Cindric went down. They got into each other. But based on the way that they were talking about it and the fact that it seemed like Cindric and Dillon had gotten together, people are saying that maybe Cindric did this on purpose.
Well, even Richard Childress said afterwards, like, yeah, that was payback.
That is his grandson, too. I always, there's probably a little bias.
A little bit.
But if I mean, look up the SMT data.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to crucify Chase Elliott for a week on this, if we're going to do the same thing to Bubba, you got to look it up on Cindric.
Yeah. It's Austin Cindric's turn to get roasted.
Yeah.
If the data proves.
If the data proves it. And that's the thing. I want to see, does the data prove the same deal? Because, I mean, I get it was probably more egregious looking with Elliott's and especially Bubba's. But they got the data. They have everything they need to have for this. So, or was SMT down too?
Maybe it was. Oh man, we'll never know.
Do you know if they got it fixed by the end?
I don't know.
Because if they got it fixed by the end, then maybe. But that does suck. Because at this point it's a ball and stick. It's a a gray area kind of charge. Then so so SMT was down.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, if you're NASCAR, I feel like, especially if you get better views, maybe there were views that they didn't get or something. Wait, so they said the manufacturers had it? I mean,
like whoever has it,
whatever happens, you've got to get as much data as possible, like, because that is a very strong charge that I think would be, if he didn't do it on purpose, would be a horribly unfair penalty.
Yeah.
But that is a penalty, though, if he did it on purpose, that needs to be charged, because that is...
It's unacceptable.
And the fact that it would happen, 3 times in 6 months?
That's crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Well, it's not crazy. It needs to be addressed if that's the case. So, man, I don't know whether or not it was, because we didn't really get a good view in the media center of it.
No.
But Richard Childress sure as hell thinks it is. I'm sure Austin Dillon does. I'm sure a lot of people at home who probably saw a better version of the crash than we did, or whatever.
So.
Seems like a lot of you in the chat do. I wish I could put a poll on this one. We'll have to put one up on Wednesday. But it was, that would be pretty damn bad, to say the least. I think we'll finish off on this.
Right.
If any super chats come in, we'll read them. But Kyle Busch here, the main man of the night.
3 now for Dale.
3 for Dale on the 4th. On June 4th, 2011, Kyle Busch was being punched in the face by Richard Childress. Well, I believe, was it Ty or Austin at the time? One of the Dillon brothers was holding his watch. And you got that amazing quote, boy, hold my watch. I don't know which one it was. Like Austin, probably it was Austin.
Do you remember the driver he had gotten into a conflict with, though?
Oh, God.
I do.
Was it,
I do.
I want to say Coleman?
I thought it was, was it Cody Kaufman? No, I don't, maybe I forgot. Damn.
Somebody will remember in there for us.
He won at Pocono. I remember that. He won at Pocono years ago.
Listen, if there's anything you need to know about Joey Coulter.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. If there's anything you need to know about my post-race chat, they will always correct, and I love it. They're very much my fact checkers.
Thank you, guys.
But yeah. And Coulter. Alex Pillow.
Oh God. He won today. He won today. So.
But yes, June 4th, 2011. Y'all saw, heard, depending on where you were, the punch heard around the NASCAR world, which I believe RC got a huge fine for. But now, 12 years later, June 4th, 2023. Kyle Busch gets his third win for RCR in the 8 car. They asked RC about it in the media center, and he basically said it's history and didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I do, because I think, like Emp Lemons so eloquently said, and I will summarize it because I'm tired and the heat's getting to the brain, that when you watch NASCAR long enough, everything comes full circle.
It does, yeah. And
you cannot write that better. One from the pole, I think I tweeted this morning when we were driving. It's like, took 12 years, went from punch to pole.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, even though Kyle Larson's on 2 tires, the clean air really is what meant the most in this race. And Kyle Larson put up some damn good fights towards the end. Faded back to 4th, I believe, at the end.
Yeah.
We got to turn the pylon off. Never mind. I was about to say, we got the damn pylon there. Dirk's Bentley's on. That's more important. But he held off a Kyle Larson who has been hit or miss all year.
Yeah.
Looked like he possibly could have pulled off the ultimate comeback and been hit. I got to say, I thought it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And now, I think, what would you say? Would you say Kyle had the best car today? Or would you say Blaney?
Hands down. No, man. Kyle Busch had the best car, man. I mean, Blaney had his moments, and I know he won stage 2, but, man, whenever Kyle was up front, man, he was just gone,
Yeah. Really quick, Alan, thank you for the 10. It looks like, to me, Austin Dillon came up, which is what Boyer also said. I do not think it was intentional on Cindric's part. And without more evidence, it would be important to say. Either way. Yeah. That's the thing. There needs to be the evidence. Because they can say all they want that he did it on purpose.
You need to show the evidence.
But getting back to Kyle Busch here, the successful RCR driver this year, which I agree. I think that's a very valid and very collected take. But I'm looking at my notes here. Lap 182, 8 versus 5, 8 prevails. Lap 203, they have the bell spin, so 209, 8v5 again. So 203, he beat Larson. 182, 209 beats Larson. 23 to go, beats Larson, easily clears. 16 to go, goes to the lead. Six to go, you have the caution with Bubba in the wall with the brake rotor. Busch runs out on the green-white checker. Again, so what, 6 times, 7 times, depending if I wrote my notes correct, that he beat Kyle Larson on a restart.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna ask those in the chat too. Kyle Busch has been somewhat inconsistent this year, but still pretty fast. Championship contender, or let's not even say contender, because I think there's so many people that can be contenders. Is he a championship favorite or near favorite?
I mean, he's at least in the championship 4. Like, at the very least, you got to put him in that top 4 right now. At the very least. I mean, he's got 3 wins. And he's been, I mean, like, Kyle Larson's been checkers or wreckers. I mean, William Byron has, like, been consistent. And then, yeah, Ross Chastain and Bell have also been consistent, but they don't really win like that. Kyle Busch has 3 wins already.
But so does William Byron, who's been more consistent.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, like, you know, like, who's a favorite right now? The favorite's William Byron off of those 3 wins inconsistently, but Kyle Busch isn't too far behind him.
Dude, this is going to go down as my worst take ever.
What?
Picking Byron not to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
To be fair, he'd been pretty inconsistent before, but
Finally
there's no
showed
defense at this point. Like, yeah, because he had said, I believe, last year that this was their toughest race. And so I think where did he finish? 8th? So if the toughest race is 8th, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So you got the 24, you got the 8. Who else would you put up in that category? Because you could have Larson is fast enough, but he's too inconsistent right now to be considered a favorite in my opinion.
Checkers or wreckers.
So who would you put up there?
Man, I mean, like, Chastain's just been consistent, but the problem is he just doesn't win. That's
But
the thing.
lately he's been a little off.
Yeah, and I mean, Blaney's starting to pick it up a little bit though.
If Blaney keeps the speed he had today,
Yeah.
gets a few more wins, I think Blaney can be in that conversation. But we say this every year.
Yeah, but I mean, out of the Team Penske camp, I mean, Logano's your best bet. But even, you know, during post-race, he even said, like, yeah, we've basically been struggling for a while, so, like, we really needed this.
It's hard
So,
outside of Blaney to trust Ford.
Yeah, and then Truex. I mean, Truex is always going to be there, I think. I mean, he's always just there.
I think he will. It's just, there's, like, the problem for me with Truex at this point is you have so many drivers who will just flare up and be better. He's never the best out there, it feels like, anymore.
No.
And I feel like when you're going for a championship with a 1-race deal at Phoenix, you gotta be, I guess Denny Hamlin maybe.
Yeah. I mean, he's been consistent too. So I put him in there.
Oh, we got the coppers going.
Oh damn.
Oh, we got more.
Damn.
We got more. Oh, we got ambulance now.
Damn.
Wow.
What the hell?
Holy dude, I can't even leave home and they still are
Yeah.
going past me.
Jeez.
It never fails. They're actually after me. They're just very bad at location. But so that's the deal, man. I guess Bell has been consistent. He's had a few iffy weeks, though some of the stuff wasn't his fault. So I'd put Bell up there, but I think Bell needs to get more wins. I mean, there's a lot of guys who can. It's a matter of, like Elliott last year, you know, and Logano. Who's gonna go from that big group? Because this is about the time last year we saw Elliott become the favorite. Who's going from that big group up a notch? Who takes them to the next level? Because at this point, you could say Byron. I think you could say Byron, just because without the penalty he'd be way ahead.
Way ahead, definitely.
It's difficult to see at this point. And I know that's probably, you know, the milquetoast answer nobody wants. But man, I don't know right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm really excited for Sonoma coming up. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. By the way, if you if any of you are the 6,000 people at the Rockford Speedway this week, me and Slapshoes will be there. Yeah. So say hey. I'll be back on my old stomping grounds for a little bit. Darian, we're both going to be on the NASCAR Woohoo podcast this week.
Of course.
That'll be on Eric Estep's channel on Wednesday night. A lot of fun stuff with that. And why don't we last little sign off here. Why don't we show off where we're at? If let me make sure I don't kill the stream when I do it. There's the haulers and the track in the background. So, you know, we're having a good time. We're like, you know, Freddie Mercury. We're having a good time.
We're ready to go home.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you're ready to go home. But guys, it's been nice. I will be live after both races this coming week at Sonoma. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see you guys through the week. Darren, you got any last sign off?
Hey, thanks y'all so much for watching, man. You know, letting us, you know, do, you know, these types of opportunities, man. And man, it's a blessing, man. This is awesome. Awesome weekend of racing.
All right, we're gonna head on out. So
goodbye.
I'm gonna slide back. We're gonna do like a reverse Chris Collins with it. Slide in.
Slide out of it.
It's good to see you guys. I'm glad I could get on here, and thank you for so many coming out to an impromptu stream when I did not plan it whatsoever. Can't wait to see you this week. So. Until next time.
Bye-bye.